What's good? It's your boy Trouble T Roy. Hit Don't Get Hit Boxing Talk. Back with another one. And it goes. So this is my first video back for probably a couple months at least. It hasn't really been anything crazy exciting going on in boxing, so really wasn't enough to really feel like I need to do any videos as far as what's been going on. It's been pretty quiet for the most part as far as big fights. I didn't get to see all the fights this weekend, but I did get to watch Munguia versus Benavidez, and I also got to watch Benavidez versus Zurdo. Both very good fights. I'll start with giving a congrats to the Inoue Brothers, both Munguia and Takuma. Both won their fights. I heard Takuma's fight was really well. Once again, I didn't get to see either one of those fights. I heard Takuma did very well in his fight, and Munguia, he did very well as well. But I'm getting a lot of mixed feedback and a lot of mixed reviews about that fight. A lot of people saying that it was boring, or you got other people on the other side saying that it was a very technical fight, a chess match type of fight. So, you know, you get the type of fans that you get with fights like that. Some are going to say they're boring because there wasn't a knockdown or a knockout. Others are going to say, yeah, it's a chess match because it's two great fighters trying to figure each other out. Like I said, I haven't watched any of the fight. I haven't really seen any highlights or nothing. So hopefully by sometime this week I can sit down and go ahead and watch those fights real quick, both of those. I did get to see Munguia and Benavidez. That was a great fight right there. I was pretty impressed with the way Munguia fought, or Munguia. I know you say Munguia. I don't know why I'm saying Munguia, but I don't know which way to say his name. But Munguia, he was very impressive performance in my opinion for what I watched. I did get to see that whole fight against Benavidez. He actually, you could tell that he's still learning. Obviously, he's still fairly young, but he has over 40 fights and close to 50, if not 50 by now. So that being that young, but with that much experience in the pros, he didn't have much of an amateur background. So he pretty much jumped right into the pros when he was young, and you can see his experience. He's definitely keeping up with the experience. He's definitely using his experience in the ring. He looked probably the best I've seen him look so far. I've noticed over the last 2 or 3 years, he's been definitely improving. He's going from that wild power puncher that he was years ago to a more controlled, more, you know, well-shaped fighter now, using all of his different, you know, attributes that favor him in the ring. Seems like he's creating a complete fighter. His corner is definitely creating a pretty complete fighter, where he knows how to use his range, and he also knows how to break down. His footwork is pretty well. Still never been super impressed with defense, but it don't seem like he's taking as many unnecessary shots as he used to, which is a great thing. And like I said, very controlled, a lot more controlled than he used to be. He's definitely gathered that over the years. I know his experience with being stopped and his experience with going in there and getting in with Canelo. I know those were two of the fights that made him go back to the drawing board to kind of correct what needed to be corrected, especially after he took that knockout by, I forget what his name is, the dude from France. Even coming off of that loss, when he rematched that guy, you could tell that he was working on. You could tell, for one, he was still pretty affected, which most people would be affected by a knockout, like what he took in that fight, that first fight against that guy. So when he coming back, he was very cautious. He seemed very cautious. He didn't want to take too many chances. He definitely kind of controlled the distance, but it didn't seem like it was a control of distance where he felt confident. It was more of a, I don't want to get hit again like I did in that previous fight, you know, because even him getting knocked down by Canelo, he didn't seem fazed by that. But that was a knockdown. I mean, you know, against a great fighter in Canelo. But he got back up and kind of shrugged that off and went back to what he was doing. But after taking the knockout by the guy from France, you could tell that kind of opened up his eyes. And in that rematch, he kind of just looked like he didn't really want to engage as he usually would, which is, like I said, which makes sense after coming off a knockout loss. Anybody would be kind of hesitant, and that's what he was. But in this fight against Benavidez, he didn't show hardly any hesitation. He showed ring generalship, especially going into the rounds. Later into the rounds, he showed great ring, you know, IQ, generalship. You know, he had the control of the whole fight basically from, I would say, rounds 2, 3, and on. I think he may have took off a round somewhere towards the middle of the fight, around 5 or 6, something like that. And then he got back on that pedal. He punched that pedal down again. And when that Benavidez, I actually thought at one point towards the later last rounds that he would get a stoppage. But at the same time, he didn't really need it because I feel like he was controlling the majority of the fight either way. So regardless, like I said, I think this is the best that he's looked so far, especially coming up to 168, which I believe, if I'm correct, that is his first fight at 168. I could be wrong about that. Somebody could correct me. But yeah, did a great job. Now a 2-division world champion from 154 and now 168. And he is supposedly talking about going back down to 160 to try to grab a belt from there, which would be a good look for him if he can make that weight still. He's still pretty young, so he may be able to shed off a few pounds to go down to 160 and do some damage, and then maybe come back up to 168. All right, especially after Canelo retires and leaves the game, he come up to 168. He might be the next undisputed 168 pounder. Who knows? He might want to stay at 160. He could possibly be good at 160. I know somebody brought up that if Munguia goes down to 160, depending on, or might not even be depending on, but seeing what happens after Zayas and Boots go at it and fight each other. Zayas should be coming up to 160 pretty soon. He's still young. I think he's like, 23, so he's definitely still growing. And I feel like Zayas would fit pretty well at 160, and that could be a fight right there. You know, Xander Zayas versus Jaime Munguia. So that's another fight to look forward to. I think that would be a big fight. Boots the same too. Boots could probably go, I'm sure Boots could go up to 160 because he's a pretty decent size at 154. So I think 160, Boots probably will be able to cap at 160. He's a little older, you know, in his 30s, early 30s. So 160 to me will probably be the cap right there. And he could do well at 160 as well, you know. But we still have to look at the Zayas versus in this fight first to see who's going to come out on top on that fight night. So, which is going to be another exciting one. I'll definitely probably be doing the video before. At least I might try to do a prediction video before, and I'll definitely obviously be doing the recap after. So, look forward to that one. Lastly, I want to talk about the Benavidez Ramirez fight. So I never did a prediction video on that. Me personally, I had Benavidez winning by decision. That was my go-to. That was my prediction, and it didn't go that way. Benavidez won. I knew he would win regardless, but I thought it would go to a decision, and it didn't go to a decision. It went to Benavidez by a 6-round stoppage, and I know a lot of people will probably say that I don't like Benavidez. Well, I mean, never really been the biggest fan of Benavidez. I was not impressed by Benavidez myself. I didn't think he did anything new. He didn't show me anything that I didn't know he could already do. And I know one thing is that these guys know each other from rounds and rounds of sparring. So they both should have had each other's number in a way. But for some reason, the craziest thing for me was Zurdo didn't look like the Zurdo that I've seen in the last few fights since he moved up to cruiserweight. I have been very impressed with Zurdo's improvement in his boxing as he came up to cruiserweight. He seemed to have been doing a lot better, getting a lot better. He seemed to be able to use his footwork a lot better, choose his punch selection a lot better. And even use his size to his advantage as well. But for some reason, it seemed like all that was thrown out of the window this fight. You even have some people saying that they believe that he threw the fight. So I'm not saying that he threw the fight. Is it possible? Possibly, but I'm not going to put that on Zurdo. Benavidez did exactly what he was supposed to do, and I heard somebody say, I believe on Ring IQ's panel, it might have been Julius himself or somebody on the panel, but it was like Zurdo basically just turned into the sparring partner rather than taking the fight as of a real fight, and that might be what Zurdo did wrong, is clicking into a sparring partner rather than clicking into we under the hot lights now. This is a real fight. This ain't no sparring session. We ain't trying to figure nothing out, because that's what sparring is for. Generally, what it's supposed to be for is figuring things out, not fighting in a competition mode where it's either win or lose, but it seems like Zurdo didn't do any of the things that I had seen him doing over the last couple years since he's moved up to cruiserweight. It seems like he dropped a lot of good things that he'd been doing and got maybe a little too comfortable with the old sparring partner, and that backfired with him, because Benavidez knew exactly what to do. Benavidez was throwing stuff that I ain't seen him throw since he was probably at 168. And I mean, when I say him throw and land like that, I mean that comfortably. Benavidez felt real comfortable in that. He looked real comfortable in that ring, and it looked like he felt very comfortable in that ring against Zurdo. And he took advantage of everything he could. There's no reason Zurdo should have been standing right there in front of him while he throws the shoe shiners 3-4 times in a row and land damn near everything that he threw. That didn't make no sense. Zurdo didn't come in with the right game plan, and Benavidez capitalized upon it. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, and I can't take that away from Benavidez. As far as Benavidez, I always say I wasn't worried about what Benavidez really did in this fight, this previous fight, this past fight that he just had against Ramirez. My question the whole time was if and when, because like I said, I thought he was going to beat Zurdo either way. My question was, what is he going to do next? And again, goes back to the same bullshit with Benavidez. Canelo. Canelo. Now he's saying he'll fight Canelo at 175 if Canelo would agree to come up to 175 and fight him. I'm like, dude, leave Canelo alone. You know, for somebody that everybody wants to call the face of boxing, you would think that he would let Canelo go. As far as, if you're the face of boxing, you don't need to keep calling out the real face of boxing. They should be coming to you. Everybody should be coming to you. You know what I mean? And yes, David Benavidez is a good boxer. He gives anybody trouble, you know. But this whole, I feel like the face of boxing doesn't need to call out the big names. The big names should be chasing after them. That's what happened with Canelo. That's what happened. What is he doing with Canelo? He's still, years later, still calling out Canelo, who just came off of a loss. Canelo in his mid-30s. Probably about to be out of the game pretty soon. But you're still keeping Canelo's name in your mouth. It's like, that shit is kind of lame at this point. I was telling a buddy of mine the other day, I was like, if I was Benavidez, matter of fact, I was telling my bro this the other day as well. If I was Benavidez, I would tell all these guys who keep on, because you know what they like to do is blame these social media guys who do their interviews, you know, ask them about Canelo. If I'm Benavidez, I'm saying Canelo's old news. I'm telling them, don't bring up Canelo to me ever again, or the interview's over, because there's nothing else to talk about. Canelo knows where I'm at. If he wants it, he can come get it. It's that simple. Canelo can do what he wants, so it ain't like he can't get the Benavidez fight if he wants to. And if he doesn't want to, then oh well, move the fuck on. Canelo still did what you haven't done yet. You know, you're in cruiserweight. You're at cruiserweight. You have you know who the ring and lineal champion is right now, but you don't want to fight him. Opatai is over there. He's ready. He might not have the belts no more, but he is still the lineal champion of the division. He's still the guy to beat, and you don't want him. I just heard somebody say that he said he don't want to fight Opatai for another couple of years, and like, that's wild. You gonna wait 2 years to fight the dude that's right there? You know, and this is why we all know, I mean, people who really know boxing, is that they've been picking safely as far as opponents for Benavidez. Benavidez should have stayed at 175. He's thought about fighting Bivol, but you're at cruiserweight now. Bivol's still at 175. You know, it's like, why would you even bother moving up to cruiser if you want to fight Bivol? That doesn't make sense. And now you're talking about going back down to 175. This dude is like, if he can do it, more power to him, but I don't see that happening. And if he does do it, it might be a mistake. He might drain himself too much. Dude walks around over 200 pounds. So what are we doing here? I'm just confused. When he had an opportunity to get in the ring with Bivol after the fight with Benavidez and call Bivol out, he left. He left before the fight was even over. So, you know what I'm saying? So I don't get the sense from Benavidez that he wants to challenge himself against somebody like Bivol. He ain't gonna fight Benavidez. I don't see that happening. I think they both beat Benavidez, me personally. You don't want to fight Opatai. You talk about going up to fight Usyk at heavyweight, but Usyk's getting ready to retire. And two, if you're not hurting nobody, I mean, yeah, you got Zurdo out there, but that fight was just tailor-made at that point. Zurdo didn't do nothing but stay right in front of you. So we already know, since 68, since he spent the decade at 68, we know the fighters that he has the least amount of trouble with, those are the ones that stand right in front of him. We know Bivol ain't gonna just stand in front of you. Honestly, I thought Zurdo wasn't just gonna stand in front of you, but he just, you know, he just clicked off for some reason and decided to eat every shot that you had available from yourself. You know, so it's, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not impressed by Benavidez. I'm really not. Like I said, if he fights Bivol and beats him, if he really is willing to go back down to 175 to fight Bivol or Benavidez, and he could beat them, he gets my respect. Or if he stays at cruiserweight, which he might as well do now, because he's 200 pounds, you walk above 200 pounds, you might as well just stop at 200 pounds and go ahead and fight Opetaia. But we know you don't want that fight. So you chose the weaker out of the two with Zurdo. You know what I'm saying? So he made whatever excuse to not fight Opetaia. I think they talk about money and stuff like that. It's like, okay. Yeah, I don't believe in Benavidez. I'm still not a believer. I still don't think he's any kind of monster. Like I said, he's a good fighter, and he knows how to take advantage of his opponents. The matchmaking has been awesome for him. And yeah, congratulations to Benavidez for doing exactly what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, moving on from that, we'll see what happens in the future for Benavidez. See if he fights again this year. You know, let's see. Just get something under, just get a fight under so you can stay busy at least. But we'll see. You know. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good shit. It's your boy Trouble T Roy. Don't get hit boxing talk. And I'm out. Peace.